For years, the idea of taking a game you like and modifying it to your own vision has been a thing. Ever since the accessibilities of ROMs and emulation, people have been wanting to take their favorite games and modify them to make them easier or more difficult. Back then, to make your own levels in a game was just a dream. But now, thanks to groups of fans, tools have been released that allow you and just about anyone else to take a game and make it their own. One series that sees this a lot is the Super Mario series. With a name as big as Mario, there are bound to be a lot of people that have their own ideas for how Mario levels should be played. And thanks to programs like Lunar Magic, which allow you to edit levels in Super Mario World, fans have been able to create and share their own ideas with others. And boy, there are a lot of Mario hacks out there. Now, what if you could take that same idea, being able to take your favorite Mario games and make your own levels, but remove the legal shaky ground that is using ROMs? Well, that's what Nintendo achieved with Super Mario Maker. Super Mario Maker was a game with the goal of giving fans the ability to show their imagination and creativity by providing them with a fun and accessible way to create their own Mario levels. The idea was extremely successful, as Super Mario Maker went on to be the 7th best-selling Wii U game. They wanted to give people access to similar ways to make levels that the 2D Mario dev team had, but to make it a bit easier to understand and easier to use. It was a great idea and fans loved it. When the Nintendo Switch released, surely there was going to be a Mario Maker on the Switch, right? They weren't going to just leave it on the Wii U. In fact, there were many rumors that actually said that Mario Maker was going to receive a port to the Switch. But as you'll see today, we thankfully got that, and so we will be taking a look at Super Mario Maker 2. Before we get into the real meat and potatoes of Super Mario Maker 2, let's actually take a look at something new that they brought into this game. A story mode. Surprisingly, they actually added a story mode. If you're not that big into making levels and aren't feeling up to playing online levels, or maybe you just don't have an internet connection and you can't play, you can play through the game's story mode. Here, you must play through levels to collect coins in order to pay to rebuild Peach's castle after an accident results in it being reset to nothing. You take up various jobs from Toad, and you play through levels created by Nintendo's staff in exchange for coins. You can use these coins to buy parts of the castle with the end goal of rebuilding the entire thing. All you'll be doing here is playing levels. The whole point of the story mode is to help inspire people and give them ideas for things that they can use in their own levels, and just sort of get the creative juices flowing. The story mode contains levels that cover just about every base, normal just get to the goal levels, and levels that use the newly introduced clear condition system, where you can select other means of being able to finish a level, say giving it to where you have to get a certain amount of coins or killing a certain amount of enemies before you can actually reach the goal successfully. Upon clearing the story mode, you'll receive a few bonuses that you can't get otherwise, so there's still some incentive to play through it, especially if you aren't the type that likes to create levels. It's not something big, but it's a neat little thing for them to include in the game nonetheless. Feel like you're someone that can't ever think of ideas for levels to make, then this is a good way to get yourself started, as Nintendo was sure to include a bunch of different things, and there's now a lot more you can mess with in Super Mario Maker 2, and story mode is really just good for helping you get ideas for what you can do yourself. So if you've got a case of creator's block, you can go through story mode and get some ideas through that. Now here's the part I expect a good number of people to put a good chunk of their time into. The level editor. Unlike the previous game, Mario Maker 2 has, well, two ways of making levels. You can do either while it's docked and using a controller to move around, select things, draw out the level, etc. Or you can make levels in handheld mode and control it just like you would the original Mario Maker, but using the Switch as the gamepad this time. I tried doing this for a bit, but because the Switch uses a capacitive touchscreen, my 3DS stylus, which is the only stylus I have, didn't work, so I'd have to use my fingers or buy a capacitive stylus, and I'm not about to ruin my Switch screen by using my fingers. So it's not the route I went when making levels. There was a special stylus that was a pre-order bonus for this game in Europe and Japan, but North America lacks this item, so if you're from a region that got the stylus, I'm sure making levels like that would be much better than in the docked mode, but because I'm here in America, I would have to go out and buy it myself. My main gripe with docked level making is the controls are kinda odd. You have to swap between drawing mode and the selecting mode, but what button you press on the controller controls which part of the menu you go back to after drawing. and it oftentimes left me in the part of the menu that I wasn't really trying to end up at, and you have to go around the entire menu to get to where you're trying to go. It's sort of hard to explain, but based on what button on the D-pad you select, it chooses where on the menu you go. And I just kept forgetting to specify which part of the D-pad I'm trying to press to go to which part of the screen I'm trying to go to. I would have liked it much better if the analog stick was purely for moving the cursor, and then the D-pad was purely through moving the menu. But you have to press a button to toggle between them, and that's quite irritating, honestly. But that is my main gripe for the level editing. As for what's new to the level editor, they've added quite a few things that were lacking in the previous game. For one, they added slopes. Something you'd be surprised people wanted, but they did. They also added a few more items and enemies, with one notable one being the Angry Sun from Mario Bros. 3, but now you get to see it in every Mario style. The big addition, however, is now you can make levels in Super Mario 3D World themes. Even though the game wasn't 2D. They did a good job translating it, though, so it actually feels like it's a 2D game, even though it's a 3D game. If you select the 3D World theme, however, it resets all that you've done and makes you go from scratch. So make sure you aren't actually into the process of making a level when you decide to switch over to the 3D World theme. It's likely there may be a few more themes added, as where the 3D World theme is in the menu, it says extra themes, so maybe one day down the road we'll see another theme. Maybe a Super Mario Odyssey theme? That'd be pretty cool to see. The level editor is a whole lot of fun to mess with. You can test all sorts of ideas you have for things, and even if you don't end up posting them online, it's still fun to see what you can do with it. Even though the game styles are based off the original Mario games, they do sort of control a little bit differently from the originals. So even if you think you have the entirety of a Mario game known inside and out, chances are Mario Maker 2 has made something slightly different from the original game. A tad enough different to where it's actually worth messing around with just to see how much they've changed and how much you can do with that style now. Just keep in mind that if you want to upload whatever level you do have to be able to complete it on your own, so you might want to watch how much nonsense you put into it, and don't be that guy that makes a super hard level and then makes an easy way for you to clear it without people knowing. Just don't be that guy. Not big on making levels, finished or tired of the story mode, then this section of the game is for you. The course world is where you can go to connect online and play all sorts of levels and do all sorts of things. You can go through a list of levels selected by most popular or most recently uploaded, or if you have a code, you can look for one specifically. From here, you can pick a level and give it a shot. One thing that people aren't too happy about is they removed the ability to download the levels that other people have created. Say you play an annoying level and you want to figure out the secrets of it, well, now you can't. Like the idea of a level and want to see how it was done? Well, you can't. And it's kind of annoying. You'd be surprised how often people use that feature to give them ideas for their own levels, or maybe if they wanted to see if someone cheated when they made their level and then gave themselves a hidden way to finish it to get past the whole having to clear a level. And I know a lot of people use it because I see a lot of people on my Twitter feed that are upset about the lack of this. So it's certainly something people want to see brought back, and maybe they will. While the 100 Mario Challenge is gone, in its place is now the Endless Challenge. You choose a difficulty for the levels and play levels back to back with the goal of completing multiple levels to set a high score. You don't get 100 lives this time, only 15, and you keep going until you're out of lives. Not a fan of a level and losing too many lives to it? Then you can simply skip it by holding the minus button. Should go without saying that skipping a level doesn't actually add it to your high score, so you still gotta be able to complete the levels if you intend to go for a new record. And the last part of Course World is the multiplayer stuff. New to Mario Maker 2, you can now play online with others. Currently at the time of recording this, however, you can't play online with your friends. It's only random people. But they claim that online with friends will be patched in a later time, hopefully not too long from now. You can choose to either play through a level co-op or do a versus level. In co-op, you and the other players work together to figure out a level and finish it. I haven't actually come across a level where working together is required, though maybe not enough of them have been made yet. But it's a funny thing to try out, though I'm more excited to give it a real shot once I'm able to play with people I know and don't have to deal with randoms. You can also do versus levels where you and 3 other people compete to beat the level first. If you beat the level first, you gain rank points, win enough, and you go up in rank. If you lose points and can drop in rank. What I find odd is only one person can go up while the other 3 will always lose points. So even if you reach the end goal with someone else, if you didn't take it first, then you lose points. Only first place is rewarded, which can make going up in ranks quite annoying. Super Mario Maker 2 is a whole lot of fun. I spent quite a bit of time messing around with ROM hacking tools, so to be able to do the same sort of things, but now with Nintendo's approval, is great. I played a ton of the original Mario Maker, and I can see myself playing this a whole lot more. I'm interested in to see what extra themes get added, and I'm excited to be able to play this with my friends over the internet at some point. If you never had a Wii U and didn't get to experience the original Mario Maker, I highly suggest picking up Mario Maker 2. Even if you don't think you're the overly creative type, there's still a lot to do outside of making the levels. The amount of content the game has is only limited by the player base, much like how ROM hacking is only limited by the creativity of the community. So much potential, and with the idea of more content being added via DLC, just means the possibilities skyrocket. It's certainly a game that will keep you entertained for quite some time to come, and it's certainly more interesting than Mario Maker on 3DS. Don't play that one. That one's not good.